The sharp crack of a phone slamming against a polished executive table echoed across the silent boardroom like thunder. Papers fluttered, coffee cups rattled, and every executive froze in disbelief. A janitor, a quiet, exhausted single father in a faded uniform, had just slammed the CEO's expensive phone onto the table in front of her. But when the phone burst open and something unexpected spilled out, the powerful CEO's face drained of color. Her hands began to tremble. Before we continue, take a quick second to support the channel. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that remind us to look beyond appearances, please like this video, comment where you're watching from, share it with someone who needs inspiration, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps these stories alive. The man who had slammed the phone was named Daniel Carter. Most people in the towering glass office building barely noticed him. Every night after the employees left, Daniel quietly pushed his cleaning cart through the hallways, wiping desks, emptying trash bins, and mopping floors that reflected the city lights outside. His back often ached from the long hours, but he never complained. He couldn't afford to. Daniel was a single father raising his 7-year-old daughter Lily. Life had changed for him overnight 3 years earlier when his wife passed away suddenly from a rare illness. Since then, every day felt like a battle between exhaustion and determination. Daniel worked 2 jobs just to keep the small apartment they lived in and make sure Lily had food, clothes, and a chance at a normal childhood. But despite the struggles, Lily was the light in his life. She had bright eyes, a curious mind, and a laugh that could melt the darkest day. Every night when Daniel came home, no matter how tired he would read her a bedtime story. To Lily, her father wasn't just a janitor. He was a hero. The building Daniel cleaned belonged to one of the most powerful tech companies in the city. At the top of that company stood Victoria Hale, the CEO. She was known throughout the industry as brilliant, ruthless, and unstoppable. Employees respected her but also feared her. Her time was worth millions, and she ran the company with absolute control. To Victoria, Daniel was invisible. Until the day everything changed. It was a Tuesday morning when Daniel came in earlier than usual. Lily's school had called him the night before about an upcoming science project, and he needed to adjust his work schedule. As he quietly cleaned outside the executive meeting room, he heard raised voices from inside. The board meeting was already in progress. Victoria stood at the head of the long glass table, her posture sharp and commanding. The executives around her listened carefully as she discussed a massive new project the company was preparing to launch. Daniel kept his head down, doing his job. Then it happened. Victoria stepped out of the room for a moment to take a call. As she passed Daniel, her phone slipped from her hand and fell to the floor with a soft clatter. She barely noticed and continued walking down the hallway. Daniel picked it up. He hesitated. The screen was cracked slightly, but something else caught his attention. The phone case had popped open, revealing something hidden inside. A small folded photograph slipped out. Daniel froze when he saw it. His heart began pounding as memories rushed back like a tidal wave. The photo showed a young woman holding a baby in her arms. The woman was smiling warmly, and the baby looked no more than a few months old. Daniel knew that woman. It was his late wife, Emily. Shock rippled through him. His hands shook as he stared at the photo. Emily had taken that exact picture the day Lily was born. He remembered it perfectly. But how could that photo possibly be inside the CEO's phone? Confused and desperate for answers, Daniel walked into the boardroom. The executive stared at him with irritation as he approached the table. Victoria returned just as Daniel reached the center of the room. The room went silent. Without saying a word, Daniel placed the phone firmly on the glass table with a loud slam. The crack echoed through the room. Victoria's eyes flashed with anger at the audacity of a janitor interrupting her meeting. But when the phone case popped open and the photograph slid across the table toward her, everything changed. She looked down. And the moment she saw the picture, her entire body stiffened. Her confident expression collapsed into something fragile and shaken. Her hands trembled as she slowly picked up the photograph. Memories flooded her mind instantly. Emily. Her younger sister. The sister she had lost contact with nearly a decade ago after a painful family dispute. Victoria had spent years trying to find her, but Emily had disappeared after moving across the country. Victoria had never known what happened to her. Until now. Her eyes slowly lifted to Daniel. And for the first time since she had become CEO, Victoria Hale looked completely vulnerable. Daniel's voice was quiet but steady as he explained who Emily was to him, and how she had passed away 3 years earlier. The room felt heavy with emotion. Victoria struggled to breathe as the reality sank in. Emily had been living in the same city. She had a family. She had a child. Victoria's voice cracked as she asked the question that terrified her most. Does she have a daughter? Daniel nodded. He pulled out his wallet and showed her a picture of Lily, a cheerful little girl with Emily's same bright smile. Victoria covered her mouth as tears filled her eyes. For years she had believed she lost her sister forever. Now she realized something even more painful. She had lost precious time with her. But standing in front of her was the only family Emily had left. Daniel and Lily. Something inside Victoria shifted that day. The powerful CEO who built an empire suddenly saw the world differently. She ended the meeting immediately and sat with Daniel for hours, listening to stories about Emily, about Lily, about the life they had built through hardship and love. For the first time in years, Victoria felt something she had buried beneath success and ambition. Family. In the weeks that followed, Victoria made a decision that shocked the entire company. Daniel was no longer a janitor. She offered him a new position managing community outreach programs the company had been planning. Programs designed to help struggling single parents, just like he once was. And Victoria became a part of Lily's life. Not as a CEO. But as the aunt she never knew she had. The glass towers of the company still stood tall in the city skyline, but inside them something had changed. A moment that began with anger and a slammed phone had revealed a hidden connection that would transform 3 lives forever. Before we end this story, I want to ask you something special. Please comment the word kindness if you believe small moments can change lives in ways we never expect. And if this story touched your heart even a little, please like the video, share it with someone who believes in second chances, and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories like this one. Because sometimes, the most powerful discoveries in life don't come from success or wealth. They come from the unexpected moments that remind us we are never truly alone.